Hello. How you doing? It is Friday. How you doing on this Friday? You doing good? Doing great. Ready to learn, grow. Get into some mischief. It's Friday. All day. Unless it's Saturday for you. But it could be Friday. But it could be Saturday, depending where you are in the world. But for me, it's Friday. It's Friday. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. I better charge my phone while we're going live. Always a perfect opportunity. Oops. What are we up to today? Hey, Caroline. Great to have you back. And Sarah. Where were you Wednesday, Sarah? Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? On Wednesday. Hey, Michelle. Great to have you back as well. Welcome. It's been chilly in San... Oh my goodness, my voice. It's that cold, but I went a bit higher than usual. It's been a little bit chilly in San Diego. Hey, hey. Leah, great to have you back as well. I'm doing pretty good. I had a good workout. My trainer today, we did some, flat bench press, but with chains on it. So it gets heavier at the top, but less at the bottom. So that was always interesting. But I am all good. One more weekend of work to go before I don't have to work a weekend for a little bit, other than doing my group calls. But we are teaching, as we know. Great to have you here. Yeah, our last weekend. Tomorrow we're going deep into hypnosis. Lots of inductions, like kind of hypnosis inductions. Some processes. Some deepeners. It's going to be fun. I'm doing great, thank you. Doing pretty good. Lil Sebastian is doing great, so hopefully I'll have him next week. He had his cone off and he is totally a different person. If he's a person. He's a dog. He's a totally different dog. Lots of energy now. Oh my goodness. That's okay. I've been like that on when I've had jet lag. Hopefully you didn't do the mistake of holding the phone laying down and then it just drops on your face. But when I get jet lag, I don't know, I pass out and I'm like, I don't remember going to fall asleep. I was watching something and then before I know I was laying down. Hey, welcome back as well. Hope you're doing well. Always having fun. Did we have fun? I can't remember. Oh, do you mean hypnosis weekend? Or the hypnosis training? Or Wednesday? Always having fun. Thank you. I'll get a snuggle with him soon. As soon as he had his cone off, he nestled into Melissa's kind of neck and shoulder for 5-10 minutes. So I think he was super grateful. Super grateful. Because he's not he can be snuggly with me sometimes. But he's not the most snuggliest of dogs. But he was that moment. Oh. Insurance paid me most of the money, but not all the money. It was like, I had to spend, I think it was like $1,300, I think. But worth it, of course, worth it. But, he is doing good, so that's the main thing. I never knew you lost it. But great that you got it back. The Grim is here. Grim has got a second camera, like this. He has the exact same camera as me. A Sony A5100. And his looks so much better than mine. He's got his lighting so much better. He hasn't got it on a moving thing yet. I couldn't think of a name last night, but a slider. Next step. But he's got his a lot better. But happy Friday. Yeah, I've been there before. Hey, MZ. Great to have you here. Yeah, it's Friday. Hopefully not the fried brain Friday. Maybe the chill out brain Friday. Yeah, snuggling up he was. Got the pictures to prove it so we can embarrass him. Yeah, thank you ever so much. It's been a long period of him healing and also trying to figure out what the issue is, but he's got like an artificial valve or something. Oh, I see. Yeah, that happens though. I know that people get their ad account hacked and then you're in debt to like Facebook for like 10 grand. Well, thank you. Great to have you here, Judy. Yeah, he's doing good and great. Just like us all. So technically, he's still got some medications to take, but technically soon he will not need any of his eye meds ever again. And we were doing them like 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 just before bed. And he had to have 5 minutes between time. So it's good. They are expensive. Human ones are very expensive too. Touch wood, that's not happened to me. Touch wood. And it is a wooden table, so that's correct. But yeah, it's like $5,800. Thankfully, I only had to pay like $1,200. But as long as he's doing good. I don't know how he's going to pay it off though. What kind of tasks can he do? Like, we thought once we could put him in the movies up the road in LA. Didn't do that. He's not very good at paper rounds. He's good at sleeping. So, but I don't think you get paid for that. Hey, did my... Oh, okay. Okay. Can't do that. He's not very good at that at all. So this is the pause. This is the pause. It's like you can't hold things. No matter how much you try, they can't. You could get some kind of cloth, cleaning cloth on his paws, so maybe he can walk around and do some dusting of the floor, maybe. Wow. I would have thought that'd be for free. Because that means I want to get paid for that back as well. Yeah. Super awesome. Yeah. I wanted a while ago, if he's on my streams, I could pay him through the business and make him a tax write-off. But I don't think that's possible. Especially, I looked at my streams. I'm sure, I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie by trying to remember. But, I don't know if I can even find it. But we're even with the streams. No, I can't find it. I felt like last month we made like, from going live on the ads, it was like a crazy cool amount of like $2. Crazy cool. I think it was something like that. Maybe it was 5, I don't know. But we are, I don't want to lie though. I don't want to lie. $93 actually is a lot better than I said. So that's pretty cool. We made $93 by going live 3 times a week for the last 4 weeks. 3, 6, 12. 12. At 15 hours. But I don't mind, I like it. I like it a lot. But we should get everyone to sponsor him. I don't know. I don't know. I could put him on the street with a little kind of hat and people could put money in. But that means I am working for him. Yeah, like mopping. There we go. So anything else we need to discuss before we get into the show? I'm not going to say it's a short stream. I'm not. But I would like to be able to rest a little, finish up some work and then rest before teaching tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm not going to say it's a short stream because we don't say that. What a great level of support we have here. But we are at 18,592 subscribers on YouTube now. So we're almost at 19,000 again. Or not again, like, we only hit 1,800 last month, so 18,000 last month, so we're kind of like, every month and a bit, we're kind of jumping up 1,000 almost. And yes, episode 799 today, 800 on Monday. And today we're talking about how long to reprogram your mind. Yeah, we'll need a rave celebration. We'll have a pre-rave celebration. There we go. Here's our little rave. Oh, we forgot the That's the pre-rave. And we gotta bring Fred. And his friends. No, it wasn't Fred. It was a P. Was it Pete? Peter? Peter! I don't know why I said Fred. Oh, it was for fish. It was in my training. Strange. Oh, and you actually said as long as Peter Pigeon doesn't come on. I'm sorry. You just reminded me of the name. It is the Crazy Chats. I'm not saying a short stream. Oops, I'm not saying a a short stream. Yeah, sorry, I didn't read your whole message. I just saw Peter. And then you said, as long as it's not Peter and his friends. Yes. Did you know, did everyone know this? My middle name is Frederick. Did you know that? You don't really hear many Fredericks. Joseph Frederick Clough. After my granddad. I never met him. He was my mum's dad, but he passed before I came into this world, so... Me. Peter Pigeon. Joseph Frederick Clough, what are you doing? Then you know you're in trouble. Not that I get in trouble. Why would I ever do that? Yeah. Joseph Frederick Clough. No one at school ever knew that, really. But you guys got to know that. Yes, I did. That is true. That is true. And my mum was either going to call me Joseph, or she once told me she was thinking of the name Seth. Seth. Which I'm kind of pleased she didn't, because I couldn't pronounce my THs for many a year. So it'd be like Seth. Even now, Seth sounds a bit weird to me. Nor does my eldest brother. My eldest brother doesn't. He's just Daniel Clough. No, that's a lie. It's Paul, after my dad. That's a total lie. Daniel Paul Clough. I totally messed up there. I do apologize, Daniel. Then you got Luke John Clough, and then Joseph Frederick Clough. But both my brothers got baptized, and my mum and dad forgot about me. So I never got baptized at all, but my brothers did. And my mum tried to play the trick of, we wanted you to decide if you wanted to or not. She tried to play that trick, but I know that she forgot without a doubt. I don't even know how I got into Catholic school, because I wasn't a Catholic, and I wasn't even baptized. I kind of sneaked in somewhere. Which is kind of weird, going to a Catholic school, not being... Maybe it's not weird. Oh, there we go. MZ. I thought MZ was your first name. Elizabeth. I know, I used to get mine wrong with Frederick. I didn't used to put an E, be Frederick. Great song. Can't Beat. Don't tell me I know the band. I don't know if the guy's name. How have I forgot that? A great... No, the... What's the one on the highway? That crazy cool song. That's a cool name, Isabel. There we go. Get chosen. Don't tell me that name of the band. I know the band. Is it Michael Stiphen or something? As a lead singer. If it's Michael, something like that. No, it's not the Beautiful South. It's not the Beautiful South. And the lead singer of Beautiful South used to actually be in a band with Fatboy Slim. The cool song, The Caravan of Love. That's a cool song, if you ever get to see that one. Good, you're not saying it. Yep, that's it. Now you know. Yeah, Fatboy Slim. I can't remember the lead singer's name, but he was the lead singer of Beautiful South. I can't remember the name, but The Caravan of Love, way back. REM. That's the band I was looking for. REM. And what the other song was Everybody Hurts. That's the cool song. That's all good. It's Friday after all. REM. Which you'd think I'd remember, because REM is also rapid eye movement, which you can experience in hypnosis when the eyes are flicking around. So you'd think I would have known that. Okay, we should get on with the show. We're either doing a pop quiz on bands. Yeah. Losing My Religion by REM. That's cool. Aikida? Did you say Aikida? Yeah, it gets passed down a bit like Joseph Frederick Clough. Okay, we can always have a bit of a post chat as well, so we can get into today's content. And here's a question for you. Here's a question for you. Not for now. Not for now, for afterwards. After this live episode. After this live episode, we do cover a lot of chat topics. From how many holes in a straw? I'm still right. Ikeda. Ikeda? Ikeda. Ikeda. So not the I, but the E. Okay, the question I want you to consider is, if you got to the end of your life and you met whatever your truth is, and you were able to ask one question that you really wanted to know the answer, or even if you didn't get to the end of your life, but if you could ask one question you'd get the answer to anything. So it could be like, do aliens exist? Or how were the pyramids created? That is the question of the day. We should do questions of the day. Of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the question. No, not yet though. And why you're here to learn on this stream. You're here to learn on this stream. So you can save that question. So don't answer it yet. Do it after the stream. Think about it. If I could ask one question where I'd be able to get the answer. Like I said, do UFOs exist? How were the pyramids created? What was the point of Stonehenge? Or the Big Bang? Or like the creation of the universe? The meaning of the universe? Yeah, no, there's a lot of questions. But one. You can only choose one. But not yet. Not yet. Think about it. So, let's get on with episode 799, How Long to Reprogram Your Brain. Are you ready? Let's do a quick turn off that audio, just like that. We're not doing it just nice and slow. We're just going to go into it because we can. It's Friday. We can do whatever we want. Look, we can just do this if we want. Doesn't matter. We can do that. We can just... do that. It doesn't matter. Let's just go. Let's go into the episode. So, ready, steady, 3, 2, 1, let's fry, yay, and go. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 799. Yes, we are just so close to episode 800. So I hope you've been enjoying my work. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how long does it take to reprogram your mind. So in other words, if you have an issue, if you have the imposter syndrome, if you have anxiety, if you have worries, fears, or doubts, if you have a phobia, if you have presentation skill issues, if you want to lose weight, whether it be any issue whatsoever, I want us to consider that in our mind as to how long it takes to let it go. Now, I'm going to lead into that question by asking you a question. Because if we reverse it for a moment, how long did it take to formulate that issue that you may be experiencing? And not even formulate, to create. How long did it take for, say, a phobia, if you experience a phobia, to just come into existence? To believe that we're not worthy, deserving, or good enough? How long did it take for your unconscious mind to make it a reality? And the reason why I say the unconscious mind, because I don't think you consciously, or for most of us, consciously choose to have an issue. We don't go, well, I want to feel not good enough, or I want to have the imposter syndrome, or I want to have panic attacks. It's an unconscious process. So how long does it take to reprogram the unconscious mind? Because if you could let it go, you would. But if you cannot, it must mean the unconscious, or you could say subconscious mind created it. But the tag question is, how long does it take for you to create the issue? Really think about it. Now, if you said, well, it took years, it took months, it took, let's say, days, I believe you're wrong. You see, you may have had conditioning to get to that place. Say, for example, we grew up in a family, say our mother or father just kept saying to us, look, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not perfect, you're not good to be able to do X, Y, Z. You didn't believe it until one day you did. So in other words, to create an issue, it happens in a moment. There may have been some pre-programming or significant events, but in one moment, your unconscious mind, in my opinion, assumed it to be true. For example, like the easiest example would be, say, for a phobia. There's a one-time significant emotional event, like I see a dog, I was being overly playful with it, and it just kind of snapped at me when I was very young. In that one moment, my unconscious mind goes, dogs are dangerous. And then, over time, that either was, in that moment, a big phobia, but then it just began to grow. But it took that one moment, a decision, to have that phobia. And in the same way of belief systems that we hold about ourselves, or say the imposter syndrome or panic attacks, I believe it happened in one moment where your unconscious mind thought, I'm not good enough. I'm an imposter. I don't believe it takes a long time. It may have taken lots of situations to come to that conclusion, but it happened in that moment. You may have gone through lots of different events, been told the exact same thing, had 10 bad relationships, but in that one moment, you then decide relationships aren't worth my time, or relationships are bad. One moment. So now if we go back to my original question, how long does it take to reprogram your mind? Well, surely it's the exact same thing. It takes one moment to let go of an issue. You see, most people think it takes years to let go of their issue, only because they've experienced that issue for a long time. So they equate the length of time of having, say, anxiety, say I've had it for 10 years, it's going to take me a long time, the equivalent, maybe a little bit less or a little bit more, to let go of anxiety. Same thing for limiting beliefs. But in my opinion, it's a lie that we bought into. Now, some people, even in the media, or even some therapies say this. And that's not throwing stones at therapies. I love all therapies which are geared to be able to help and support us. I don't mind if it's psychotherapy, counseling. I love therapies if they're there to help us and support us. But I will say it doesn't need to take the same amount of time that you've had your issue to let go of the issue. If you do that, you're setting up expectations to your unconscious mind. It's going to take that amount. You see, whatever you perceive to be true, you begin to create. You live by that. It becomes your definition. So if you go, well, I've had it for 10 years, it's going to take that amount. You're telling your unconscious mind that it's going to take that amount. It's going to take a lot of struggle, a lot of stress. But in reality, just like how an issue can be created in a moment, your unconscious mind can be reprogrammed in just one moment. Now, there are some caveats to that. For example, there were some events that led to that one-time decision, say, I'm not good enough. Took some, say, foundational work. And sometimes when it comes to transformation, you need some foundational work. You need to understand the nature of the issue. That's the one thing that I really like to discover with my people in my program. We understand the root cause. Now, thinking about that, that's the other reason as to why we keep our issues for a long time, because we're not working on the root cause. We focus on what we feel the most, and that's going to be our pain. For example, if I feel anxiety most of the time, I'm only usually going to think that anxiety is the problem. Or if I have, say, that inner critic, or if I have procrastination, if I feel that inner critic or procrastination for a long period of time, I experience it most of the time, I'm going to presume that procrastination or the inner critic is my real issue. So a lot of the time we are geared up to think, I'm going to work on my symptoms because I feel them the most. But though the truth of the matter is, there are signals leading you to the truth of the root cause. Once you discover all those signals, those symptoms, and then go, what's the root that is connecting all of those together? That if I let go of, those symptoms cannot exist. And that's what we can change in a moment too. So there may be some foundational work of discovering what that is and doing some transformational processes for your unconscious mind to get that. But in the time of decision, it takes a moment. You see, the analogy I like to think of is, let's just say we weren't feeling very well one day and we go to a doctor. And as we go to that doctor, they would usually say, look, what are you experiencing? Tell me your symptoms. And you'd go, I got a headache, sore throat, stomachache, aches, pains, fever, shivers. Every time I eat, I feel bad, all those things. Well, if that doctor turned around to you and just said, look, what we're going to do is give you one pill for the headache, one for the sore throat. We're going to give you another set of pills for the aches and the pains. Another one for every time you eat something and you feel bad. One to help you sleep at night. One for the bad stomach. One for the sinus. One for the headache. Like, before you know it, you're like, oh my goodness, I've got to take these 10, 15 pills every day, some of them multiple times a day, just to keep my symptoms at bay? Well, in that moment, you'd probably go, there is no way that I'm going to be with that doctor, right? Because you don't want to treat the symptoms. Now, let's just say we go to a new doctor. You find them, you see them online, you've been recommended, or they've got good reviews, or you just feel like you connect with that person. When it comes to being a doctor, of course. And let's say you go to that doctor, and the question they ask you exact same. What are you experiencing? What symptoms do you have? And in that moment, you go, I've got all these symptoms, exact same symptoms that you said to the first doctor. But then you get a different outcome. Because the doctor goes, based on everything you've told me, all those symptoms, based on my knowledge, you've got a bacterial infection. That's creating every time you feel bad, or eat something you feel bad. That's creating the fever and the shiver and all these other symptoms. So you're going to just take the antibiotics and it's going to clear up the bacterial infection. One pill, maybe 2-3 times a day, but only for 5-6 days this time. Now, I'm no doctor, so that course could be longer, but it could be a little bit less as well. But I know when I had a bacterial infection once, all it was one pill twice a day or so, based on memory, but it was only for like 5-6 days. And suddenly, my symptoms disappeared. So if we take that as an analogy, if we only work on what we feel the most, like the headache, sore throat, stomach ache, but now change that to worry, anxiety, the inner critic, the procrastination, the self-sabotage, the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of being found out. If you only work on those, say you worked on the procrastination for the next month or two, then the other symptoms are still going to be there. You got to work through those, and that may take another month each. Or you work on the procrastination, it goes for a little bit, and guess what happens? It just springs back up. Because just like a weed, if you just pull out the leaf, therefore, it will just grow another one. But you've got to get to the root of that weed. And the exact same thing when it comes to reprogramming our mind. If you want to change in a moment, yeah, there's some foundational work, but just to make a new decision by getting your unconscious mind to know there's a safer way of being, if you can communicate with it, if you can get the unconscious mind to recognize and realize there's a safer way of being without the issue, biologically, it has to make that change because it's here to serve us and protect us. It just thinks the anxiety, the worry, and the fear is protecting us because intentionally it is. But we've got to not work on symptoms. We've got to work on the root of the matter, the deep unconscious root cause. When you do that, the issues will disappear ever so quickly. Almost as quick as the time it took to create the issue in the first place. So don't buy into it takes years to let go of an issue. Don't buy in it takes many months. It can just be like that. Of course, you need to either find the right doctor or the specialist to help you do that. That can be the case sometimes. You can do it by yourself. People have let go of their issues. Sometimes it takes a bit of time, a bit longer to get that foundation, especially if you're, say, a novice when it comes to the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. But if you do go down that route, it may take time, but it's not going to take years and years and years. You want to be able to just ultimately focus on the root of the matter, rather always talking about it, always trying to figure out what happened in your past. Because some people can talk about their issues so much that they know it inside out, yet they still keep the issue. Because it's not about you consciously understanding and knowing everything about it. To me, it's about getting the unconscious mind to do it. And we've been so hypnotized by the events, we've been so programmed by those past significant events or people in our life who've told us X, Y, Z, or bad relationships, or we lost a job, lost a business, that we just think, oh my goodness, it's going to take forever. It doesn't have to be that way. If you find the root and solve that, then your unconscious mind can be reprogrammed even in that instant. Now, of course, once you let go of it, it's important to be able to then gain new data, right? So it took a bit of that foundational data to come to that conclusion of I'm not good enough. Well, sometimes having let go of the problem, you need to continually work on it just so you're almost like cultivating this new plant. You've kind of taken out the weed and you planted in this most beautiful plant. Think of the most beautiful plant you've ever seen, or tree, or whatever it is. Well, it's going to take time to sometimes take to the soil or to be nurtured. It's got to be placed in sunlight. And that is where sometimes, if we take that as a metaphor but put it into our transformation, is being surrounded with the right environment. And that could be the people. It could be like your tribe. It could be your family. And by family, I mean those who lift you up. People who are going to support you. People like you who have maybe gone through that. So you have that level of understanding, but you're moving toward momentum to be the person that you want to be, just like they are. So just remember this. Do not fall into the trap that it's going to take forever, because you'll only ever feel broken. You'll only ever feel unfixable. And if you work only on symptoms, you will always and only feel broken and only feel unfixable, because you do one and another one pops up, or that just comes back again. So don't focus on solving what you feel the most or what you experience the most when it comes to your issue. That should lead you to the root cause if you do it in the right way. If you, like I said, get help to be able to find that, or if you research and put a ton of time in understanding how the unconscious mind, like for example, you could go on trainings to be able to discover all this data, just like I did. You could be working with clients, so if you were becoming a practitioner, to gain more information, or you could read a ton of books. So it can take time and a lot of investment to be able to discover that, but you can work with someone to discover it. But ultimately, the truth of the matter is, as quickly as it took to create in that one moment can be the exact same thing in the solution. It can just take one moment. I like to call them epiphanies. I think there was actually a study, or there was a study, I just don't know all the details about it. And they wanted to do a study of like how people quit smoking. Like all this data, what did they do to quit smoking? And some people may have said, I did hypnosis, or I did the nicotine gum, or I did cold turkey, or whatever it may be. But there was this one group of people who had the most success and were the biggest group of people who did not relapse back to smoking. And that was the ones who just decided, woke up one day and gone, I'm done. Now think about that. Woke up one day and I'm done. Well, to me, that was the conscious mind and the unconscious mind going together in unison. I'm done. The conscious mind, when it comes to the nicotine gum, when it did the hypnosis sometimes, or where it be reading about books like was it Alan Carr one? Or for someone Carr one, took a lot of conscious pushing and failing and not feeling good, or like it took a long time. It was more of a struggle, but those who are successful just decided. So almost that's what we do in hypnosis. We get the unconscious mind to just decide, I'm done with not feeling good enough. There's a safer way of being. I'm done with anxiety. Not you doing it, because I know you're done. You're ready. I mean, most people are. I know we have reasons for keeping our issues. Maybe we get attention. Maybe by being a victim, we get lots of people looking after us. So that's one thing to be kind of conscious about. Are we getting some gains by keeping the issue? But putting that to one side, let's presume that's not true for you. Well, you've got to then just get the conscious mind to go, oh, I'm done. But then the unconscious mind to go, I'm done with doing this, because that's the thing which is doing this. That's running the program. You're not running the program consciously. But once your unconscious mind goes, I'm done, then life will never be the same again. You just got to find that root cause and only work on the root cause, no matter what. Not what you feel or experience the most. That leads you to it with the right help. But doing that, it can just take a moment. So my answer to how long does it take to program your mind? Just an instant. That's just the way it is for me. That's my plan. So even, for example, I have a system, an 8-week system to let go of the imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough, worthy, deserving, not loving themselves, or not feeling of value or capable. Well, we find the root cause of all that stress and pain, only work on it by doing all these unique, different vehicles of transformation, where it be personalized and customized experiences, or these crazy profound modules that we do, or the group aspect of transformation, the one-to-one aspect. By doing that, we go to meet the issue where it lives, and it doesn't meet in the conscious mind, it meets in the unconscious mind. So you can replicate that yourself if you put enough time and effort to do so. But don't focus just on the symptoms. Don't try to solve those. It takes a moment to let go of the issues that you experience. Now, of course, if you are someone who just wants I'm here and I want to get over here in lightning quick speed, and you want to get the expert advice, a professional experience of transformation, of someone who's been there and done that and replicates it with everyone else within the program, of the imposter syndrome, of not feeling good enough, worthy, deserving, so you can level up your career, you can be the person you want to be in your relationship, you could be the example to maybe your children, rather passing on that story. That's the one thing. I don't have children, but if I were to, I would hate to pass on that same story, because ultimately 93% of all communication is unconscious. We can say all the right things in our 7% of words, but if we're communicating something unconsciously, we don't want to get that to be repeated to those we're passing down onto our legacy. Maybe we've had our issue because that's been passed down to us. But as I said, if you are ready to step up and go all in on your transformation, to do what has to be done, to invest in yourself, because look, if you want to make changes and you want to get the experts to support you, who have done all the research and investment into doing just that, because it takes a lot of time. Like I know for me, I've invested thousands, over 100,000, way more than that actually, probably 250,000 in understanding this information, so then we can let it go lightning quick in a fully customized way. So if that is you and you're like, I'm done, I'm ready to go to josephclough.info/talk, and then you go ahead and book a time to speak with us. And when you get on that group call, or not group call, that one-to-one call, the person with you will guide you to what the truth is, where you are, where you want to be, what's getting in your way. That's what we're experts at. Figure out if you're a good fit with us, and if we can solve it, we'll say yes, 100%. We can let it all go in the most wonderful, quick, profound way. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be, like you're putting energy into it, a few hours a week. That's nothing to let go of it in 8 weeks, having had it for decades. But you can go to josephclough.info/talk. So once again, you go ahead and book your call, you fill out an application, and then you go ahead and attend the call. We get clear on exactly where you are, where you want to be, what's getting in the way. And then if you're a good fit, we may invite you into the program, because you got to be willing, you got to be ready. We only work with people who we like and love and really want to serve, who are equal to put that energy in, just like I am. And then we go ahead and make it a reality with you. So that's josephclough.info/talk. So with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some value from this, that don't fall into the lie that it takes forever to change, because you'll only ever feel broken, lost, and alone. As quickly as it was to take the issue on at an unconscious level to decide it, well, it's the exact same thing, in my opinion. May need some foundational work. It doesn't take long, maybe a few weeks, but once it's got that, it has the epiphany to go, I'm done in every single way. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to speaking to you on a future podcast. So, next podcast, episode 800. So I look forward to speaking to you on that one. Many thanks and goodbye. We did it. Episode 799. I be speaking a lot. I need to hydrate. Whoop whoop. We did it. Episode 799. Remember that question? I'm curious. Curious. Sometimes when I get off the stream of a live podcast, I just cannot speak. I just make up words, or I trip over my words. But when I'm doing the live stream of the podcast, there seems to be far less mistakes. I don't even do many ums and ahs. Have you noticed me do ums and ahs on the stream? I don't think so. Not many. Thank you ever so much. I think we did it in good time. I think it was like 20. I try to keep my episodes between 20 and 30 minutes. It's a long time to be speaking non-stop. 20 to 30 minutes. Thank you ever so much. It's great to have the usual crew here. Exactly. Getting the unconscious mind to support you while doing what you do. That's what I really like about whether me doing hypnosis or these talks, or if I'm doing like a public speaking or podcasts or live streams. I get to be in a bit of a backseat. It's like I hand it over to my unconscious mind. So we got one question. I'm going to highlight it for now, just so in case we have any more feedback on the episode, and we'll get to that question. Just so I know. But what questions would you ask? What questions would you ask? And if you didn't get the question, I was saying before we did the podcast that if you could ask one question where you'd get the answer, whether it be the pyramids, UFOs, or biblical, or spiritual, or ghosts, or something else, a question for a question, what would that be? I'm curious. I've thought about it on the stream. It's like, we did the 2 straws, or 1 straw, 2 holes. Does it have 2 holes, 1 hole? Still has 1 hole, depending on the size, though. No, 2 holes, sorry. If it's small, then it's 1. That's the truth. But any other questions that you would want answered? If you could have infinite wisdom of that answer to that question, what would it be? And then we'll close off the stream where we get one. Well, no, we've got one question. So Sarah's question is, my question is, do we really stay in our bodies during sleep, or do we literally drift off somewhere else? That's pretty cool, right? Because where are we? Where are we when we go to sleep? Where is consciousness? We can observe the consciousness maybe through the dreams. Maybe this is a dream. Maybe there's just one long dream that in the dream we go to sleep and wake up from the dream, but maybe this is an actual dream that I'm consciously playing out while my other me is asleep. See, we've gone even deeper now. That's a good question. Where do we go? 2. No, I can't even remember my original answer now. 2. Interesting. If I could ask a question, I would straight out ask my next logical step. Like in life, in business, that kind of thing. Maybe for others could be, what's the meaning of life? Like the real meaning? Where do we go when we pass over, if we go anywhere? I'm just coming up with all the questions. So we got 2 questions we needed answers for. But everyone else got a bit quiet. Maybe you're thinking. Oh, that's right. 3 questions. It's a good question. No, it's 1 question per person. Otherwise, we'll be here for a long, long time. If everyone has lots of questions. But yeah, that's a good question. What if it was just because we get to choose? Oh, another question I thought of. See, I'm coming up with all the questions. Do past lives exist? Are they just metaphors? That's right. In this life. That's what I meant. So I knew what you meant. I was having fun. What is dark matter? That's a good question. Because we really don't know what dark matter is, right? We really, as far as I'm aware, I remember like reading into it, but we don't actually know what the substance is, what's like in that matter, in the absence of matter. Maybe it's, because they even got like, say they call like junk DNA, but maybe that has a meaning. What's it within the junk DNA? Is that like a dark matter? There we go. It's good to ask questions. Do we carry forward historical trauma from generations to the next and ourselves? That's a good question. Is it passed down genealogically? Is that a word? Genealogically? Logically? Passed down genealogically? I don't think it's a logically. Genealogy. You know what I'm on about. I've worked with some scientists as clients who were in the biology world, and they said yes. That's what I was told. But I I can see how that's true, because if you're passing on the knowledge, or say just call it data, of where you are, and then you create something based on that data. So we pass that data on. When it comes to like maybe even children. Yeah, for each generation. There's been studies on that. That was one of the first hypnosis books I read, was lots of studies on past life. Whether you think it's true or not, I am open-minded. But there were some children who would be able to come up with this information. Never be 100% true, but there'll be some things go location, name, rough time period type of thing, and they'd have like a birthmark, and they said, I got injured here. And when they tied it back to the name, the place, area, or the same kind of era time, someone passed away with that name, with that injury. Now, are they making it up? I don't know. I don't know. Is it just a metaphor? Who knows? That's a good question to get the answer for. Is it really real? Because then again, like if you think of the law of attraction, you see successful people go, I use the law of attraction, but how many people did use the law of attraction who didn't get successful? Maybe they're holding limiting beliefs about themselves, but they did all the wishing and the wishing and the wishing. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it, Sarah. I knew it. I just knew you were going to ask that question. Well, if I were to ask an answer, that would be limiting beliefs about self or the thing. But that was a kind of a joke. Because if I did know, then telepathy, told you can't speak after my streams. Telepathy did exist, because I knew you were going to say it. Okay, but what I'm saying here is, if people think, because if you think about The Secret, did all those people make it a reality who read The Secret or watched the movie? Probably not everyone, or even probably a small amount. Well, what is the reason now? Why are they just wishing? Why are they doing it even though they had limiting beliefs? So there is that level of unconscious limiting belief or issue or conflict which can get in the way of maybe that deeper alignment, as we're talking about like the holographic universe on Wednesday. I mean, that's my belief system. That's funny. So you moved your eyesight then. So you kind of did move an object to see in nearsightedness. I always get confused with nearsightedness and longsightedness. I always feel like they're backwards. Like if I'm long-sighted, does that mean I'm short-sighted? I got these eyes lasered. I had the lasers years ago. I got it for my birthday, I think when I was 24. I think it was my 24th birthday. Maybe. I might be lying, but I feel like it was. I remember doing it for my birthday, but it was like a milestone because 24 is my lucky number. So I'm thinking it was then. Nice. Great little community we have. There we go. Do you want to know my question I'd ask? I won't go too much into details because it's a little bit scary. But I could let you know. I don't have to as well. I have an opal ring that helps me believe in a law of attraction. I was trying to test a theory of a law of attraction. I thought about what I'd want to see, and I created a ring in my mind and then spent the afternoon looking at it. That's an interesting one. So I won't go into the real details because it's a little bit... Oh, like to hear scary. Okay. We might have to clip it from the end. There we go, even. We'll get one more yes. If not, we'll say we'll leave it there as a cliffhanger. Or maybe we should just leave it for Halloween. Maybe we should just leave it for Halloween. Sarah says yes to leave it for Halloween. See, that's good for me answers. I can just ask questions like, am I a really nice person? Ah, thank you. Would you send me £1 million or dollars right now, and you're bound to it? You have to do it. Oh, thank you. You're bound to it. It's law, you see. It was on the stream. I know, but I can make the answers to whatever I want. So I could say, shall we not tell the story? Okay, we shouldn't tell the story. Should we not tell the story? Okay. I don't like this song. It's a bit too up and down. Okay, I'll give you a brief story of it. So one day, we should put scary music on. No, we shouldn't. One day, I'll hold you to that. There we go. Okay, so one day, I think I was 18 or 19 years old, and I came home and I was totally sober. And I came back to my parents' house because I was living at home at the time in this like box room. And my bedroom would be, I always get confused. You got to say the ground floor and the first floor, first or second if you're in America, I think. But so it was upstairs in this little box room. And my bed, like a single bed, was like such a small room that had to be pushed up against the outside wall. And it had a window there. So think about my bed, me laying this way, my head here, and then the window right here. So the window was right next to me. Now outside of my room, because sometimes I could open up the window, climb out, and it was like an extension to the house, right? So my mom and dad had this like extended the kitchen technically. So it was about 6 foot, 7 foot out. And it was late at night and I was about to go to sleep, like just laying there, not asleep whatsoever, no drugs or alcohol or anything like that, no sleep deprivation. And my head was right there, and suddenly, get this, I hear these heavy paws just going boom, boom, real slow. And I heard this, I won't go into like my thoughts on it, but I heard this heavy breath right this close to me. There's only the window, my head, the window, and this thing going slow, and it felt like, because the paws were very, very heavy, it would have been huge, not like a dog in other words. And it was just kind of went by so slowly, but it felt like an eternity. And it just kind of, and it was one of those moments like, could not breathe, anything like that. And then it kind of slowly went away. I don't know how long the experience was, but it could have been like anywhere from 60 seconds to 2-3 minutes. There's probably lots of time distortion for me, because in that, you know, like you're in a stress state or a frozen state. And obviously it went, and it took me hours to go to sleep. My question is, if I could have an answer, was what was it? What was it? Because I didn't live in the countryside. Was it a dog which jumped up, 10 feet, outside of the building to get up there? Where did it go? It was in a residential area. Now, it could have been. So I used to live in Cambridge, which is close to the Fens. And there is either a myth or true that a tiger was released, the fen tiger. So maybe it was a fen tiger. And then I went to Thailand, did my training, went sign up for a marathon, and the marathon was called, get this, the Black Dog Marathon. And not so far away, but in mythology, and they also call it a shuk, I think, a shuk or a shuk, of a big, big hound. I'll leave that there. But who knows what it was? Maybe it was a dog. Maybe it was the fen tiger. But that's the one question. I'd like to know about UFOs and things like that, but because that was a personal experience, I have no idea what it was. Maybe it was just a figmentation of my mind. Maybe I just dreamt it up. Yeah, maybe we'll edit out the stream. But you asked for it. You asked for it, and I said it was a little bit scary. But like I said, I could have made it up in my mind. My unconscious mind's there. Maybe I was just hallucinating. Maybe I ate something funny. Who knows? But you asked for it. So that's the one question I'd like to answer, or have answered. I don't think it was that, because I was in the moment. So I won't go into the details, but it did not have a feeling of a spirit animal. Quite the opposite. But yeah, that was my one story. Well, not story, but one, thing I'd like to know if it was true or not. I've seen other things in, like glints and lights in the sky, but not enough to be able to go, I want to know what it is. So have a great night, everybody. Sleep well. I'm playing though. Light is always great. Always protected, no matter what. No matter what. And like I said, it's probably a figmentation of my mind. And also I live alone as well. Maybe it's a coyote, which don't go into England, but I've heard coyotes at night. So it's probably just a random dog. Just a random dog. But with that, my friends, I do actually have to go. Great questions. I'll be back on Monday for episode 800. And think about all your thoughts about what you said. But I'll kind of figure out what we can talk about for episode 800. There's nothing like a scary movie on a Friday night, right? Glass of wine, pizza. We should have a group video watch along. But yeah, it's all light. Light is good. Light always wins. And it was just a dog. It was just a figmentation of my mind. No, nothing to report. And there we go. But Monday, I'll be back for the episode 800. And it would be pretty cool, right? I don't know how you'd legally do it, though. Watching movies which obviously you've rented or watched. There we go. It wasn't scary, was it? Good night, everyone. Sweet dreams. Leah's okay. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning or something. 9 o'clock. But yeah, it's all good, though. Plus, you're not where that was, so it doesn't matter. Right? It's not going to travel all the way to Ireland or to Australia or to America. Unless you believe in things like Jaws. Think about Jaws. Jaws traveled... I heard someone say this, but Jaws traveled quicker than the plane. You know with the Jaws, when they go to the tropical, like... where were they? Like... the Caribbean? Supposedly, Jaws swam there quicker than pretty much them flying the plane. So Jaws was a pretty fast swimmer. Isn't that weird? Yes. Absolutely. Training coming up. Could have been. But no, it's all good though. You want to know the story I had? Maybe it was a story. Maybe it was. But anyway, Jaws swam quicker than a plane. That's more interesting to me. That's what I would want to know. How did Jaws swim that quick? And I look forward to speaking to you on Monday, episode 800. So have a great one. I'm working all weekend, so that's going to be great. And I'll be restored for Monday to be able to have some fun. So with that, my friends, thank you for being here. And I'll speak to you on a future... which one do I want? This one? I'll speak... That's funny. I never saw that on Sharknado. Maybe that's what happened though, right? Maybe that's what happened to Jaws. Okay, my friends, I'll speak to you. Have the most beautiful, light, wonderful sleep wherever you are in the world, whenever you go to sleep tonight. It's all good and light and love. After all, that's all there is. That's the truth. So I'll speak to you all soon. Many thanks and goodbye.